Good morning. My name is Brittany Edwards, and today I am doing the evaluation video for the Aseptic lab. And today is the 17th, July 17th, 2021 in Bio 225. And again, this is the evaluation. So I'm not exactly happy with my results. They didn't come out like how I wanted it to, and I realized I made mistakes in the part 2. And I think that's why they're not coming out the way I wanted it to. My E. coli, in camera view, you can't really tell like the bacteria pattern, but if I'm not using the camera and I kind of look very closely, I kind of can see the zigzag pattern in the bacteria growing. So you just kind of have to look really, really closely. I'm not able to get a good picture of it. But it's not really cloudy. As you can see, it kind of is clear looking, but if I look very, very closely, I can see the bacteria growing. I realized that when I did the part 2, I poured some of the culture out, which I wasn't supposed to do. I realized later. So I think that could be part of why. Also, I think I need to recheck the temperature of where I'm storing. When I did the last week's, week 1's temperature check, everything was fine. But I also was on vacation that week, and the air wasn't being as ran as much as it is now because it's really hot. So I'm thinking that the temperature is not probably accurate. So I need to, for next week, make sure that I'm storing in a proper temperature. I might have to, turn it up or something, but so yeah, so my E. coli didn't come out like I wanted it to. I don't know the name of this one. I keep putting Aseptic. Let's see. That way I can pronounce it right and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the epidermidis, that's why I didn't write it. Can't say it. So that one, it looks to me really, actually, one moment. Let me just fix this real quick. Okay. So it looks to me kind of similar to the E. coli. It's a little bit, in comparison, it's a little bit more yellowish. Hopefully, I hope you can see that right. It's a little bit more yellowish. If I open, I don't really see like a zigzag pattern. Again, I didn't do it correctly, I feel like. But I do see the growth. I see more of a pattern in the E. coli than the S-epi. So that's how that one turned out. So I feel like for me to make that better, for me to have done this better, to kind of, part 2, it really threw me off. I read it like 5 times. I didn't really get how we got from the tubes with the loop to this, but now I kind of watched some YouTube videos to figure out where I went wrong, and I kind of found that I don't have to pour any of the culture out of it, that I just do go in and do the pattern in broth. So yeah, reading the directions, it really threw me off on part 2. So I think next time when I do a lab, I'm going to try to find some YouTube videos to kind of get examples. I'm a visual learner. So I think me finding examples on how to do it will help me to understand better. The S. Carvis, the one out of the yeast, the S. Carvise. This one came out pretty good. In camera, you can't really see the pattern that well. But the description of it, it's like a thick yellow. Thick yellow, and then when you really look, you can see that there is 4 quadrants of a pattern, compared to the Aseptic had no pattern. But the E. coli, I only could see like maybe 2 different areas where there's a pattern, versus the one with the yeast where I could see the 4 patterns. But I think because the bacteria as well was thicker, so I was able to see. And I did do this one right. I did it. I poured some of it in there, but I didn't pour it all. So I was able to do the culture better than the other 2. Also, I think where I went wrong after watching YouTube, I learned that I probably should have shook the cultures real good before even doing anything, to make sure all the you can see the growth good in the tubes, and make sure all the bacteria was like kind of just even out. So when I did the zigzag, I was actually getting some bacteria. So yeah, so I learned a lot from this experiment. So good thing I didn't use all of my cultures, so that way I could, because I did read that I have to save them for the following weeks in the fridges. So yeah, that's my evaluation. Let me just make sure I mentioned everything. How this applies to real life, I think that, well, first of all, this experiment applies to real life, period, because, sometimes you don't get the results that you want, but it's okay. We just keep pushing. I think that this applies to real life as well, is like, it's growing. Sometimes you have to do it little by little. Sometimes, mistakes happen. And yeah, I just think that it's just a learning lesson. Just gotta keep working at it to improve. We talked about the errors that I did. Part 2, completely like butchered part 2. Do I think it was successful? No. In the yeast one, I do think it was successful. My results, E. coli was half there, I guess, but I think it could have been better, the results. And yeah, so that is my evaluation, and then I'm going to do my evaluation on the other lab. So have a blessed week, and thank you.